Mingala and welcome to MI Radio's Myanmar Today. I am Michelle with the recent news and reports from around Myanmar. Pure Taridu got the latest report on the over 500 billion judge budget cut from National Planning Bill. Swama and They will give us all the details on negotiation can remedy economic crisis posed by COVID-19. Wilson also has the story on government business situation in Nay Pyi Taw. David Tanner has the full story on MI Radio's broadcasting workshop brings great excitement to youth. All of these reports will be coming up on Myanmar Today. But for now, let's take a look at what's happening in local news. President U Win Myint participated in the third Mekong Lankan Cooperation leaders meeting from Nay Pyi Taw through video conferencing on Monday. The meeting was co-chaired by Prime Minister of Laos People's Democratic Republic, Thongloun Sisoulith, and Member of State Council of the People's Republic of China and Premier Li Keqiang. After opening the meeting, the state leaders reviewed ongoing process of Mekong Lankan cooperation and progress of works, and they also exchanged views on the future process of cooperation framework. President U Win Myint expressed his sorrowful on the losses of lives and affected people due to COVID-19 around the world. His appreciations to Mekong Lankan governments because of successful containment of the disease with the correct management, and also expressed thanks for assistance of China in COVID-19 fight measures in Myanmar. The Mekong Lankan Cooperation was established in 2016 to implement regional peace and prosperity, reduce development gaps and to support sustainable development among Cambodia, China, Laos, Myanmar, Thailand, and Vietnam. To support the National Sustainable Development Strategy of Myanmar, a total of $16.3 million has been provided to Myanmar for 51 projects from Mekong Lankan Cooperation Special Fund. Medical professionals who will volunteer for fighting against COVID-19 arrived in Sidre, Rakhine State, by a special flight of Myanmar National Airlines on Sunday morning. Those doctors and nurses were welcomed by Rakhine State Social Affairs Minister Dr. Chanda, Head of State Public Health and Medical Services Department Dr. Saiwan Zorlai, Leader of Medical Team Director Epidemiology Dr. Nyan Win Myint, Medical Superintendent of Sidre General Hospital, Dr. Zolin, and officials. The volunteer team included a Deputy Head of State Public Health and Medical Services Department, a specialist for medicine, and 19 assistant doctors and 3 nurses. The special flight also brought medicine and medical equipment with volunteer medical team for prevention, control, and treatments of COVID-19. Quarantine is part of measures against COVID-19 disease. 16 Myanmar seafarers who signed off from 4 ships have been put into 21-day hotel quarantine in Koh Tang of Tanina region since Sunday evening. The seafarers will be tested for the COVID-19 during the quarantine period, Information and Public Relations Department reported. A total of 153 Myanmar nationals stranded in Singapore due to suspensions of international flights landed at Yangon International Airport by Myanmar National Airlines yesterday evening. As they arrived in Yangon, officials from the Ministry of Labor, Immigration and Population, the Ministry of Health and Sport, and the Yangon region government held for their 21-day quarantine period in line with the regulations of immigration and medical checks. As per the directives of National Level Central Committee on Prevention, Control and Treatment of COVID-19, and in coordination with other relevant ministries in Myanmar and the Myanmar Embassy in respective countries, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs arranged 15 relief flights and charter planes to bring back Myanmar people from Singapore. That's all with the local news. And now we'll move on to our first report. At the 12th-day meeting of the 17th regular section, Pidangsu Ludo's Joint Big Committee submitted the 2020 to 2021 National Planning Bill to Ludo to approve the expenditure reduction.
Pidangsu Ludo held its 12th-day meeting of the 17th regular section in Nay Pyi Taw on 24th August. Ethics session, the Pidangsu Ladaw's Joint Bill Committee submitted the 2020-2021 National Planning Bill to Ladaw to approve the expenditure reduction of the President Office, Union Government Office, Pidangsu Ladaw, Amyoda Ladaw, Pidu Ladaw, Supreme Court of Myanmar, Union Election Commission, Union Auditor General Office, Union Civil Service Board, State Consular Office, the Ministries, Central Bank of Myanmar, Nay Pyi Taw Council, and Nay Pyi Taw Development Committee. Ladaw representative from Yangon Region Constituency 4, Dr. Myanyana So, who is also the member of Pidangsu Ladaw's Joint Bill Committee, submitted the bill amendment on expenditure reduction for every single office and ministry in detail.
နိုင်ငံတော်သမ္မတရုံးရဲ့ရုံးသုံးစက်ကရိယာများပြည်ဘောကများနဲ့ရင်များဝယ်ယူခြင်းပြင်ဆင်ခြင်းလုပ်ငန်းတစ်ခုမှစီမံကိန်းတန်ဖိုးကျပ်12.311 တန်းကို
The Pidangsu Ladaw's Joint Bill Committee suggests reducing about 12.311 million checks, the budget under the title of Office Affairs, Transportation Maintenance and Furniture Buying of President Office, and the budget under the same title for Union Government Office, Pidangsu Ladaw, Amyoda Ladaw, and Pidu Ladaw is 0.637 million checks, 1.2 million checks, 9.244 million checks, and 12.444 million checks, respectively.
Pidangsu Ladaw's Speaker Uti Khomyat called on the respective officials from the government offices, Ladaw, ministries, and councils to approve the budget reduction. The respective officials had approved cuts in spending. Umi Aung, judge from Supreme Court of Myanmar, discussed.
ပြည်အောင်စုတရားလွှတ်တော်ချုပ်ရုံးရဲ့စီမံကိန်းလုပ်ငန်းများမှလုပ်ငန်းတစ်နှစ်ခုအတွက်ကျပ်
The Supreme Court has approved budget cut of just 56.506 million for 2 new projects and of just 94 million for the expenditure for office affairs, transportation maintenance, and furniture buying of Supreme Court. In total, about just 150.506 million of budget was agreed by the Supreme Court.
Following that section, the respective ministries and the government councils have approved the budget cut for the 2020-2021 National Planning Bill and the 2020 Union Taxation Bill. Over 500 billion were reduced as the budget cut for the year of 2020-2021 National Planning Bill. Uma Mawin, Deputy Minister for Planning, Finance and Industry, said.
2020-2021 ဘဏ္ဍာနှစ်အမျိုးသားစီမံကိန်းဥပဒေကြမ်းကိုပြည်ထောင်စုအစိုးရအဖွဲ့ကိုစားစီမံကိန်းဘဏ္ဍာရေးနဲ့စက်မှုဝန်ကြီးဌာနကပြည်ထောင်စုလွှတ်တော်သို့
Instead of national government, the Ministry of Planning, Finance and Industry proposed the National Planning Bill for 2020 and 2021 financial year to Pidangsu Ladaw on the 13th of July. The Pidangsu Ladaw's Joint Bill Committee reported its findings and recommendations on the bill to Ladaw on the 5th of August 2020. Then the Pidangsu Ladaw representatives discussed on the reports on the bill at the last session. The respective government officials have also responded to the discussion of the representatives on the bill. Each paragraph of the bill is also approved by the respective officials and Ladaw representatives at today's meeting. We would like to submit the whole 2020-2021 National Planning Bill to seek the approval by Pidangsu Ladaw.
According to the 2020-2021 National Planning Bill, 52 billion to the Ministry of Transportation and Communications, which counted for over 10% of the whole budget cut, is the largest amount of budget reduction for one particular ministry. Second to Ministry of Transport and Communications, 33 billion checks to the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock and Irrigation, and 32 billion checks to the Ministry of Construction are reduced. The Ministry of Home Affairs was reduced the budget for about 25 billion and 15 billion to the Ministry of Social Welfare, Relief and Resettlement, and 1 billion to the Ministry of Border Affairs, 13 billion to the Ministry of Planning, Finance and Industry, 8 billion to the Ministry of Electricity and Energy, 4 billion to the Ministry of Information, 3 billion to the Ministry of Religious Affairs and Culture, 3 billion to Ministry of Labor, Immigration and Population, 9 billion to the Ministry of Education, 2 billion to the Ministry of Health and Sports, and the Ministry of Investment, Foreign Economic Relations, Ministry of Natural Resources and Environmental Conservation, Ministry of Commerce, Ministry of Hotels and Tourism, and the Ministry of Ethnic Affairs will reduce their budget under 1 billion cuts.
That's the report on over 500 billion jets budget cuts from National Planning Bill. If bus lines companies and bus employees in Yangon public transport sector cooperate in unity, there will be the ways to remedy ongoing economic impacts. Due to the impacts of COVID-19, the companies of the public transport have to work unprofitably and are running transport operations at a loss. To be able to overcome the crisis, the wages of the workers had to be reduced, and so the controversial issues appeared. At the same time, the number of buses decreased as the driver failed to drive the buses. But not to have effect on the public transport, the YRTA managed to settle the issues very well. It was reported by Zueman and Bide. If bus line companies and bus employees in Yangon public transport sector cooperate in unity, there will be the ways to remedy ongoing economic impacts. Due to the impacts of COVID-19, the companies of public transport have to work unprofitable and are running transport operations at a loss. To be able to overcome the crisis, the wages of the workers have to be reduced, and so controversial issues are appeared. At the same time, the number of buses decreased as the driver failed to drive the buses. But not to have the effect on the public transport, the YRTA managed to settle these issues very well. Ula Aun, Joint Secretary of Yangon Region Transport Authority, said,
The main reason for this case is the weakness in management sector. Everyone is worried about the COVID-19 crisis, and similarly, our drivers are worried about living off their families. Some employees wanted to drive the buses wearing PPE suits. Today, our running rate of buses hit 86%, and this problem appeared because of the impacts of COVID-19, which causes disgust in normal situation. Although we tried, there were low incomes of the bus companies and the difficulties of the living of the employees. For example, they usually get 21,000 chats per day, but now only 33% of buses are running, and they have to work once in 3 days and get only 12,000 chats. So they have some problems found in living with that little money for 3 days. Therefore, we discussed with the members of parliament and also the employee and increase the income as much as we can from 12,000 chats to 14,000 chats.
The YRTA is striving for ensuring smooth and secure transport for passengers with good aims and frequently hold a meeting to seek the solutions to the difficulties facing the drivers. U Aung, Managing Director of Yangon Region Transport Authority, said,
We are facing the crisis between two levels like the drivers and the manager level. This is what we call management issue. We have already mentioned about it to the board of YRTA to fix this kind of issue facing us. Moreover, since YVR's business has to rely on car drivers, the Human Resource Department is mainly responsible to manage well and to be able to reveal the resources of employees. We YRTA were also trying to overcome all issues.
Moreover, the public transport sector is not operational during COVID-19 outbreak. YRTA has to try to substitute the old and unsuitable vehicles with the new ones. Uta Tinwin, member of BOD Power 11 Public Company Limited, said.
When we look closer to the case between the bus drivers and the owning company, the main point is the consequences of financial problems. The owners were facing the problems to pay wages to employees since the economic difficulties were happening throughout the world. On the side of the employees, they were facing the problems among their families. This is what's happening in the whole world because of pandemic. So we needed to try to solve this kind of problems for our employees and employers also. We held some meetings and explained the detailed situations before and after the pandemic outbreak, including the details of company budgets and economic problems within company. We explained what things are different before and after pandemic to all of the applicants in the meetings so that they well understand the actual situations. We need to overcome this problem. To be able to solve this problem, we need to work as oneness. We shouldn't stereotype between each other. We will try and how to overcome this pandemic, how to find income, and how to share this profits between each other. After this meeting, the drivers and all of bus companies owners will understand the actual situations.
They all are expecting that they can finally overcome all the difficulties and financial issues they are facing in the moment of COVID-19 period by cooperating each other in the transport sector. That's the report on negotiation can remedy economic crisis posed by COVID-19. Stay with us as we bring you more reports on Myanmar Today. Garment industry is one of the biggest business sectors in Myanmar, which has around $3 billion export value, which mostly goes to Europe. However, this sector also suffered quite a lot in the wake of COVID-19, but this sector is getting ready to get back to its normality with a loan from the government. Wilson has the full report.
Garment business is one of the biggest business sectors that its export volume has grown around $3 billion a year. Europe is the most important market for Myanmar-made garments, and most of the garments factories exist in Yangon. Nay Pyi Taw may not have many big factories and industrial zones, but it is also starting to attract more businesses from abroad in garment sector and others. One of the reasons why the garment industry is growing rapidly in Myanmar is other competitors such as Vietnam and Bangladesh have become either more expensive or facing security issues. Over 1.1 million workers are currently employed in garment, textile, footwear, and accessory factories in Myanmar. Additional tens of thousands of indirect work in industry through logistic transport services. Research commissioned by CNA Foundation in 2017 predicted that the sector could employ over 1.5 million people by 2020. However, with the outbreak of COVID-19, this sector is also not exceptional from the impact of COVID-19. As most of the raw materials for garment industry is being imported from foreign countries such as Thailand and other neighboring countries, the impact of COVID-19 has slowed down the flow of goods, which makes thousands of garment factory workers worry if the raw materials are finished, then they might lose their job. Wu Tinsheng is one of the garment business owners who has been running this business for many years. With his factories located in places like Yangon, Nay Pyi Taw, and Shan State, he spoke to ML Radio about the current situation of the business, and he said,
When it comes to the impact of COVID-19, as a businessman, of course the business is affected. Because of this, we barely get orders for school uniforms. At the same time, we also depend very much on other workers who wear uniform at work. So basically this year, there are a few orders from the customers, which mean less work and capital for us. Compared to the previous years, the business is down up to 25% this year, which I could say this is the worst year which my business has ever come across.
So the main challenge we have now is work, as I have said. Less work for us means it is hard to run the business.
According to the report, garment business cannot run at full scale for now, as the arrival of raw material is not yet regular at this time. It can take longer to arrive depending on the number of the orders. Fewer quantities mean it can arrive sooner, but large number of quantities of orders can take longer to arrive. Go Jotun is the instructor at Garment Factory, and he also spoke to MI Radio.
The current situation of the business is worst because as we are in the mix of COVID-19, we don't have many orders from the customers, and we have workers doing their job here, earning for their livelihoods. We are doing our best to keep the business run slow and steady, just to make sure that our workers keep working and aim to support their families. We know how hard it will be for them if they are to lose the job.
Mayami Ikan is one of the workers who is working at Garment Factory, and she spoke to MI Radio.
I'm quite worried of losing the job because it will make the situation hard for me. I'm doing distance education. At the same time, I'm working to be able to support my own expenses and support the family. So I wish this COVID-19 crisis is over soon.
That's the report on garment business situation in Nay Pyi Taw. With the purpose to enhance the knowledge for the youth regarding the terms of the broadcasting and potentially honing one to become a radio personality, MI Radio and Wall Street English collaborated to set up a 3-day workshop in which brings a great excitement to youth. Our reporter David Tanner got the details of the event.
No one has more fun than professionals in radio, personalities of all kinds hosting shows ranging from the most energetic of modern music to calmer, thoughtful interviews. Not only that, but behind the scenes are passionate professionals who manage the production and masterfully piece everything together into the programs you love to listen to us. As MI Radio collaborate with Wall Street English for the radio broadcasting workshop to enhance the youth for their inner passion for radio personality, Mr. Chase, who is the national head of teaching with Wall Street English in Myanmar, will tell us more about the workshop.
Of course, yeah. I think this is something that I feel like I'm really missing out on is a language skill other than English. If you know a second language, often students know 3, even 4 languages, you will have more opportunities in the future for jobs, anything. Just more opportunities, right? So I think English is one of the main languages that is spoken, at least in the business world. So students who are able to perfect their English fluency with Wall Street English, with MI Radio, have more opportunities ahead when they want to study abroad or when they want to have work here in Myanmar and also abroad. I think something I love about radio broadcasting is you need to be more creative with your voice. You know, people are only hearing what you're saying. They can't see your facial expressions. It's a really good way to practice your intonation, sounding real, adding excitement, because that will help your presentation skills as well. For Wall Street, again, to collaborate with MI Radio, for our students to have opportunities with MI Radio, and also to practice presentation skills here at Wall Street English. So thank you so much for this chance and for tuning in or for listening and following along with us.
One of the participants in the workshop, who was also a winner on participating in How to Be an Anchor workshop, Mount Josier, will tell us more about his experience with the workshop.
To be frank, I'm a big fan of MI Radio. As a winner in this broadcasting workshop event, I'm really excited and I'm really happy right now. I think we won because of the teamwork between me and my partner when presenting our news and information. The broadcasting was especially fun, and we got lots of information regarding how radio stations as a whole works. As the COVID-19 issues brought up lately, the schools and tuitions have not yet been opened. Even though there may be like online courses, it's pretty difficult to catch up. So these kind of workshops really help us a lot in our further improvement in English studies and job opportunity.
As the workshop makes youth come together on a forum to mingle together and learn what the broadcasting world really is, it was a fun moment with powerful opportunities in their future to be a radio personality. I have interviewed DJ Mason regarding her experiences with the workshop and her first time being as a judge.
Hi everyone, I'm DJ Mason from Branch Time Show on MI Radio. So today I'm here at Wall Street English and we are currently doing radio broadcasting workshop and also recruitment event. So I'm really excited to be here as a judge, and well, this is just so cool and really lovely evening. Well, this is my first time, but I'm so glad that all the students here are really active and they are so eager to participate this kind of event, and I think this is a really great opportunity as well for them, and having a chance to try for it to be a radio DJ, news anchor, and of course other opportunities here at MI Radio. And we are also looking for talented, young, and active with fun, flexible, and great personality DJs and anchors. So yeah, you have a great chance to join MI Radio family. Well, maybe as a radio DJ or as a news anchor.
That's the report on MI Radio's broadcasting workshop brings great excitement to youth. And that's all we have for today's report. And it's time to check on some international news here on Myanmar Today. Chinese President Xi Jinping said on Monday that the country must improve its innovation capability and achieve breakthroughs in key and core technologies as soon as possible. President Xi made the remarks at a symposium with economists and scholars in Beijing. The symposium was held as China prepares to make its National Development Plan, the 14th Five-Year Plan, 2021 to 2025. Xi underscored the importance of scientific and technological innovations in fostering new development drivers, adding that innovation-driven growth is necessary for achieving high-quality development. Enterprises have a principal role in technological innovation, he said, calling for enhancing their role in integrating factors of innovations and commercializing technological breakthroughs.
The remarks at a symposium with economists and scholars in Beijing on Monday. Xi Jinping said China will continue with supply-side reform, boost consumer demand, and rely more on the domestic market. He said the market should play a decisive role in resource allocation, and he said the government should work to create a stable, predictable system for development and protect intellectual property rights. Xi Jinping said companies were pioneers in technological innovation, and China should mobilize national resources and world-class research teams, further open up its economy, and to take part in reforming the global system of economic governance.
Hong Kong authorities said on Monday that exporters sending goods made in Hong Kong to the United States will be granted a 45-day transition period till November 9th for changing label to Made in China. The Secretary for Commerce and Economic Development of Hong Kong Special Administrative Region government once again criticized the U.S. for its unfair and cruel actions in introducing the relevant measures, indicating that if the other party violates the regulations of the World Trade Organization, the HKSAR government will definitely argue on stronger grounds. A spokesperson for HKSAR government earlier said that the HKSAR enjoys the unique status as a separate customs territory under the one country, two systems principle. It is granted in accordance with China's constitution and the basic law of HKSAR and recognized by multilateral organizations such as the WTO. It cannot be granted or revoked by individual countries. The leader of India's main opposition Congress party offered to resign on Monday. Domestic media said after almost 24 top leaders called for better decision-making in the party, which has ruled for much of the country's independence history. The call made in a letter is a red challenge to the Nehru-Gandhi dynasty that has dominated Congress since India won independence in 1947 from Britain. But Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Hindu nationalist Bharatiya Janata Party has dealt the party heavy defeats in 2 general elections. Reuters partner ANI reported that Italian-born Sonia Gandhi asked the party to relieve her of her role as an interim president in a speech to virtual meeting of the Congress Working Committee. 2 party sources said the signatories to the letter expect the Gandhi's family to either play a proactive role or step down, adding that more than 300 regional Congress politicians also supported the letter. And that's all we have for today. Thank you very much for joining me on Myanmar Today. My name is Michelle. Have a good day. See you next time.